Hi guys, Mitch King with Trade Stocks America with the Wednesday morning, September 15th, 2010 daily stock report. Here's the Dow. Not much change today in the indexes. Still on a steady uptrend like it's been for a couple weeks now. This is a sustainable trend. It's hard to tell whether we go to a new high on the Dow or any of these indexes from like this 10,680 number. If you draw a line across this area, this is considered the first resistance level. That would be logical that stocks could hit up against this, and the question is whether it bounces down and goes down lower like it has been for several attempts if you take a look at previous little highs here, and that's the question we've got here. NASDAQ Composite pretty much hit that number right today. If you draw that same line, you're going to get across the board just about touching that level. So it'll be interesting to see if we bust through that on the upside, then we tend to get a little bit more buying, and the uptrend tends to be a little easier to continue. S&P 500 pretty much resembles the NASDAQ. And here's the Russell 2000, which has been weaker than the other indexes so far, which makes sense. It's the small caps. And as the market gets more bullish, this usually starts accelerating at a faster rate. Let's go over a few stocks. Here's AZO, AutoZone, starting to move back up. Let's take a closer look and zoom in here. Wouldn't be surprising at all to see this to hit a higher high, which has been the pattern for several months now. Just had an all-time high last week. Here's Google, still on a gradual uptrend. Here's LDK Solar. This sector has been very strong for the last several weeks. We thought this would be turning over by now, and some of you probably got stopped out today after it hit 824 as a high, and I think your stop might have been set around 812. Hard to tell if you're still short. Hard to tell whether this thing moves down, and it very well could. It seems logical that it would, but the discipline is when it hits a new high, that procedures are to go ahead and cover those. Here's REXX. We had a note to consider closing that short in this early morning's report, or sent out to you yesterday, down 2.2% today. This could start selling off if you're still short. Be interesting to see this go down to about $11.20, $11, and see it continue to head down. Here's BIN, real steadily up. New high today, all-time new high, up 0.7%. Here's CGA, down 0.6%, still holding that $8.25, $8 level. Looking for this to start bottoming. It looks like we're kind of in that process now. If it goes to a new low here in the next couple days, that should trigger off a stop loss. And again, if we draw that line where it was back in last July, it is approaching it, although it looks like it's going through a bottoming process now. CMG still on an uptrend. Crocs is starting to move up here, looking for this to start moving up over $12 here. It had a low of $10.58. This was put on last night's report to consider a long swing that may just last a few days. I'm thinking this starts to move up somewhere around that mid-12s in the next 3 or 4 days. Here's that VIT. Pretty much ready to start buying here. Up 0.5% today. Looking for this to follow the same pattern. Real nice uptrend. And if we follow this, it kind of has this type of curve, which many stocks do. As long as that's moving up, that's a good pattern to have long. And I think this is an opportunity to start buying a little bit on the long side for VIT. Here's VMW, VMware. VMW, this is a high of almost 2 years since it's been this number, up 2.6%, real steady uptrend. Let's take a little wider view of that. Let's even go further. Can't believe I've missed this for this long, this many months. Nice uptrend here from quite a long time. These are the kind of core holdings you want on the long side to look like this kind of chart. Not a lot of volatility, but a steady uptrend. Here's CHBT, China Biotics, made a new low today, which is a big problem. It should have been stopped out. And you can see right in here, this spike down here where it created a new low. And that's lower than the several days ago right in there. That's a crooked line, I'm sorry. That broke below that, that's a problem. That should be the discipline to close those and you keep your stop losses on the long side below the recent low and makes a new low, then you automatically close out your position. Here's TPL. Not much change in the last few days, although it shows it's up 1%. Still could drop here as long as it doesn't go spiking up too much above a recent high. And you could look at this, or you can actually look at the top of that little spike right there as to set yours. I would prefer where the pink line is. Needs to start dropping here in the next few days to be interested to continue to hold out short. Here's MCP down 2.84%. Put in the report last night to consider covering this short position, and now it's finally starting to turn over. If anyone's still short, just hang on to this and see if this breaks down to the below $22 the next 2 days. So you guys know the routine. Don't get leveraged, especially in these bull shorts, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.